What's going on, guys? Yash here. Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today we have a special guest, Kamil Sattar, also known as the Ecom King. I've decided to do this little Q&A for you guys, as we're currently quarantined, and hopefully we can give you guys some insight, some value, some knowledge, as all things e-commerce, all things dropshipping. So Kamil, if you just want to give a little intro about yourself.
Thank you, Yash, for having me on the channel. It's a pleasure to meet your community. My name's Kamil Sattar, known as the Ecom King. I'm sure many of you might know me. I'm 20 years old. I've been doing e-commerce now for 5 years, and I've been a teacher for around about a year and a half, and my YouTube channel's been around for about a year and a half, and I've been teaching people for roughly around about 2 years.
That's awesome, man. Great to have you. And you're located in the UK, right?
I'm based in the UK, Birmingham.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, so on my Facebook group, if you guys already aren't in my Facebook group, it's called Ecom Masterminds. I'll have a link to that in the description with all my other social media channels. But about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I asked some of you guys, for those of you guys that are part of the group, to kind of give me some questions as to, I can basically answer. And, I decided to kind of pull that video off to now, as my schedule was pretty busy. So I was like, why not save it for now and, do this little Q&A for you guys with Kamil. I think, insight from both of us guys will, definitely be even more beneficial, especially from Kamil, because he's been, in the space way longer than I have been. So to get started, guys, the first question I had, and that someone had was, what are your top 3 dropshipping apps if you really had to choose? So I'll let you answer, Kamil, and then I'll maybe.
Yeah, so I think one of my most favorite apps at the moment is SMS Bump. SMS Bump is a text message marketing app. It's completely free to download, but you have to top up your account with at least $20. And just topping up your account by $20 is enough money to see if it's really going to make a difference for your store. Now, for SMS Bump to really be effective, you need to have store traffic. You need to be running some Facebook ads. But the upsell, the abandoned cart sequences on SMS Bump are like unreal. I used to use Klaviyo. I still use Klaviyo. It's email marketing. But I just find text message marketing so much more effective. Open rates, conversions. I don't know about you, but I find SMS Bump a lot more effective than email marketing.
I agree as well. I know email marketing is definitely really important, but more people are kind of going towards their phone now. It's just more convenient than checking your actual email. I know someone who had like a 36% recovery rate just through SMS marketing. So I know it's very overlooked, that it's neglected by a lot of marketers. And I agree with you. Like even $20, $30, once you load those credits in on the app, it can really make a huge difference. And I think, again, if you agree, the main thing is just kind of testing your script, right? So like, do you have a certain number of like campaigns going out? Do you have a certain sequence going out? Do you mind telling me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the 3 sequences that I start with are, the first one is an abandoned cart sequence, which is the ones they already give you, which is a 1 hour sequence. So after an hour, it will send it out. And then the next one is a 1 day abandoned cart recovery. And all of these ones have already been made on SMS. You just need to follow the GDPR compliance rules and just change a few of the texts up. And then the third one I do is a product upsell. So if somebody buys, then they receive a text message saying, why not buy this as well? So I really stick to very basics, just those 3 ones that come with the app anyway. And I just make sure that they're set up and they've been turned on. Now, my second most favorite app, and something that I think a lot of people would benefit from, is an app called Trackify. And what Trackify does is, I know a lot of people struggle with Facebook ads because sometimes the pixel doesn't like take all the purchases. So you might see in your store you've had 10 sales, but the ads manager is only showing you 8 sales or 6 sales. What Trackify does is it makes something called a master pixel, and it enhances the tracking capability of the pixel, so you don't see as many drops in the purchase. Because I know that can be very hard when you're trying to analyze data and it's not tracking every single purchase. It can be hard to make decisions. So Trackify is one of the best apps in terms of enhancing the pixel, and you can do like backups on there and everything. Honestly, it's worth every single penny.
Absolutely. On Trackify, so I personally never used it. I used it for one of my clients for my marketing agency, but it also segments your pixel, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, awesome. Cool. And then how about like an upsell app, like bold upsell upsell, sweet upsell, product
Yeah, so I
upsell?
think like my third favorite app at the moment, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, is probably it's hard to pick. You know, there's so many really good apps at the moment that I'm using on some stores. I would probably say Product Bundle is probably my third favorite app. Now, what Product Bundle allows you to do is it will say like, why not buy this product with this as well, and you'll get it like a discount. So let's say, for example, I'm selling a pair of sneakers on my Shopify store. You know those sneakers that are indestructible, you can't break them. I'm sure you've seen those sneakers. Let's say I'm selling those, and then I want to sell like a sneaker spray as well, which will protect the soles from getting dirty. I might sell the sneaker, and then I might put in the in the app, if you buy the sneakers and the sneaker spray, you'll get like a 5% discount. So I think it's a really good app to encourage average order value. So probably that's my third favorite app at the moment.
Agreed. Okay, yeah, I think that's a great incentive. And again, AOV is very, very important. You want to try to squeeze as much out of your customer as much as possible at the end of the day. So awesome, man. So for a complete beginner, let's just say I'm just starting out, in 2020 with all this coronavirus situation going on and whatnot. What would you say is the best type of store to begin with? Is it a general store? Is it a niche store? Is it a one product store? And why?
Are you talking about how to adapt to the coronavirus, or are you on about just in general, even if, let's say the coronavirus wasn't here?
Just in general, I would say, yeah.
Okay, in general, I always go down the one product route. Now, the reason why I go down the one product route is because if you're a beginner, you've either got a full-time job or a part-time job, so you haven't got much time on your hands. Now, the good thing about a one product store is because you're only focusing on that one product, you're going to show that one product all your perfection. Now, the reason why is because when I feel like people have got like a niche store or a general store, they waste so much time and they spend like only ever so slightly certain amounts of time on certain products. So overall, the store will look bad because they've tried spreading all of their energy across all of those different products. So if you just focus on that one thing, you're going to make it the best possible. It's like, I know this is a really bad analogy. It's like having 3 girlfriends. How are you able to share that like love with all 3 of them? It's hard to do that. So that's a good example I could probably give.
100%. I think, so like I personally, and I believe you probably do the same also, I focus on micro branded one product stores a lot. I think that is really the best approach, really kind of building your store around that one main product, kind of shining the light only on that product. So
100%, bro. Like what I do is I start with that one product. Let's say I'm selling like a lipstick product. If that product does well and I'm starting to get 10 to 15 orders a week, I start to do product upsells on the website. So I might sell, instead of a lipstick, maybe a makeup brush. So then I start to broaden it out. And then as soon as I've got lots of pixel data, and let's say the product that I'm selling dies out, I'll turn my store from a one product store into a niche store that product was. And then obviously, because I've got all that pixel data, I can start doing lookalikes from the get-go with other products.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah, that's the same approach I take as well. Cool. So our third question is, someone asked, how do you test your product? How many ad sets do you have for a CBO campaign? And what's your typical budget? I know it's like 2 or 3 questions into one.
Yeah, so my testing kind of strategy is very, very different to what most people do. So all these other gurus that you'll watch online, I'm totally different to them. Like my testing strategy is testing so many different variables with Facebook, because me doing Facebook ads for the last 5 years and spending over $5 million on the platform, I've learned a lot about what Facebook likes and what they need. So I personally do 20 ad sets in a CBO campaign at $200 a day. And ad sets are completely different. So let's say ad set 1, it'll be no interest targeting. I won't target absolutely anybody, because the Facebook algorithm's getting so good now. It's just working out what's doing well. Now in another ad set, I might do e-packet countries. Then in another ad set, I might only do the top 5 countries. And then in another ad set, I might only do, instead of doing just normal interest targeting, I might do expand interest targeting, which obviously makes the potential reach over 100 million. And then in some ad sets, I like my potential reach between 5 and 100 million. And I like to test loads of different variables, which means, let's say I'm selling a makeup product. I might not want to just test interests like beauty, makeup. I might want to test something a little bit more broader, but it's still got the same target audience. So for example, it could be like a beauty magazine. And something else that I really like doing as well is I like to do auto placements on my ad sets. I like Facebook to work out what works well for me. And then later down the line, I'll narrow it down based off what data Facebook's given me. But I always do purchase conversion, never do anything else, never do anything like engagement, always purchase conversion. I normally do 21 to 65. I do both genders. And I always set minimum ad set spends of at least $3.
Gotcha. Likewise. Yeah. I mean, that's super, super interesting, especially what you said about, having so many different variables across, all the assets in a single CBO campaign. But in terms of the structure, I do the same. I have a CBO campaign at about 100, $150, and I usually test with about 10 to 20 assets, you know, within that CBO campaign. So
100%. Another thing that I like to do is I like to test like loads of different creatives. So most people will test one creative, one video, one thumbnail, one ad copy, one headline. I do 10, dude. I do 10 videos,
wow.
10 ad copies, 10 headlines, and 10 thumbnails. Now, the reason why it's so important for me to do that is because the actual ad set, the interest part, like the actual targeting part might not be the problem. It could be the creative. It's just junk. People don't care about it. So if you give people 10 different options, you got a higher chance of finding one that will do very well.
100%, 100%. Are those creatives a part of the same audiences, or no? Like all the ad sets,
okay. So each ad set has a different ad. So let's say I'm doing 10 ad sets. There'll be like 10 different ads, and there'll be one ad per ad set.
Okay. Definitely interesting. Okay. Cool. And then also kind of a beginner question, what would be what would be like a required budget? I know there's a lot of discrepancy in the air. Some people saying I turned $200 into $500,000. So obviously you and I, we've both spent a good amount of money on Facebook ads. We've probably been through our lows and highs and whatnot. Especially you, over the course of 4 or 5 years. So especially now, I know like advertising costs have definitely gotten up, especially on Facebook and on Instagram. So again, like what's like a realistically startup cost or budget to have? And also kind of a follow-up, how important is it to have cash flow, to kind of fulfill orders and also kind of pay your ad platforms as well simultaneously as you're running ads?
Yeah, 100%. So the bare minimum I would recommend in 2020 and beyond is $1,000. If you haven't got $1,000 set aside in like real cash, like money you can put into it, you can draw a check for $1,000. Like don't even get involved, because you will run out of that cash very, very, very fast. Now, in terms of cash flow, you should always set up a business, whether it be an LLC, if you're in the UK, a limited company. And you should try and put the cash flow through the company, not through you individually. Because if you put the risk through you individually, if you can't pay debts off, then you personally will get into trouble. So that's the reason why I always structure it through companies, limited companies. That way I'm taking limited reliability. So I might start a new company for a new store, and I might take out a credit card. I always pay for things on my credit card. Number one, I get points, I get rewards, I get extra protection on credit cards. And not just that, it's a way of getting cash flow. The way UK credit cards work is they give you 56 days to pay them back instead of 30 days, which is normally for personal credit cards. I don't know about in the US. Now, the good thing about that is if you're paying for ads or products and you're waiting for the money from your payment providers like Shopify or Stripe or PayPal to come into your bank account, that can take up to 21 days. Or if you've got payment holds, it can take months and months. So if you've got a credit card, obviously, you'll be able to pay for things without having to worry about not being able to pay for them because you've got no money in the bank. So me personally, I make sure that I structure everything through my company. So if I'm getting credit cards, they're company credit cards, not personal credit cards, because if I can't pay them back, then obviously I'm not going to get myself into trouble because it's company debt, not my personal debt.
100%. I agree. I think I also made a video about this a few weeks ago. I think $1,000 to $1,500 range is definitely something kind of safer to start with. I know when I started out 2.5 years ago, I wasted a ton of money. I was working a good job. I had an internship at Johnson & Johnson, and I was just kind of, throwing money into Facebook ads blindly, not really knowing what I was really doing. And kind of the cash flow kind of topic, I had a client that we were working with about 3 or 4 months ago, and we started scaling to almost $1,000 a day. We were doing really good. We were selling one of those heated vests. You probably know of them. During the winter, they usually trend upwards. And we had to stop running ads, and we were at like 28% profit margins too. But PayPal had a hold on her account, and we just had to stop the ads. So again, cash flow is very, very important at the end of the day. And it's, like you said, very, very essential that you use a credit card, not like a debit card or something like that.
It's really important because you can't scale if you don't know, you need, to scale a product, you need to have at least, whether it be credit line or whether it be your actual cash, you need at least $5,000, man.
100%. I agree. And then speaking of kind of marketing and advertising, what do you believe are, some other upcoming digital media platforms, in 2020 and onwards?
Yeah, man, I love this question because a lot of people rely just on Facebook ads or Google ads or Instagram influencers.
Yeah, be adaptable, right?
100%. If you only rely on one advertising platform, think of it like a table. If you've only got one leg for a table, it's not going to stand, is it?
Exactly.
So you need to have different legs to stand on. I remember back in 2018, Facebook would collapse for a few days and people would panic. Because oh my God, my ads are ruined. With me then, I had other platforms still going out. Now the platforms that I'd recommend this year, instead of doing Instagram influencers, do TikTok influencers.
There you
Instead
go.
of doing Instagram ads, do TikTok ads. Another one is YouTube ads. I've been saying since last year and 2018, YouTube ads is the best thing.
Super
apart from 100, I've been using them. Other students have been using them, and the return on investment is 5 to 10 times.
Are you using, just to cut you off, are you using them for your personal brand, or are you using them for e-commerce in terms of YouTube ads?
I don't do any personal branding promotions. I don't do Facebook ads for my personal branding.
Likewise.
I just don't personally agree with doing it. But in terms of e-com stores, I do them for all of them and my students as well and clients that I do work with.
That's awesome. Yeah. TikTok is definitely on the rise. Snapchat, I personally dove into a little bit. I personally didn't really like it. It just wasn't for me. So I kind of put it on the side. But TikTok, I have this store I partnered up with one of my buddies 2 months ago. And it was very, very tough to get on the platform. We applied multiple times. At the end, we applied as an agency, and then we finally got approved. The only one con is that the demographic is still very young, so a lot of those people don't have a lot of disposable income. They don't have a lot of buying power. But more sort of lower ticket items, they work great with TikTok. And we've been seeing CPMs as low as $1 or $2 on TikTok. So, and I think even influencers, like you said, most influencers on Instagram, they already know what their worth is. On TikTok, a lot of these kids who have hundreds and thousands and millions of followers, they don't really know what their worth is. So, we might as well kind of take that advantage right now if you have, a product that's almost universal and that's kind of a little bit lower ticket, so.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
Yeah.
TikTok influencers are 30 to 50% cheaper than Instagram influencers. And Instagram influencers are going from Instagram now and they're translating onto TikTok because that's the way they know the hype is. And I think I've seen you make a video about TikTok. I made one 6 to 7 months ago. And honestly, people are sleeping on it.
People are sleeping on it. Yeah, man, definitely. So again, what Kamil said, be adaptable, be open to try other platforms. Don't just depend on Facebook because that's where, that's what kind of the mainstream hype is. Always be open. Always, at the end of the day, you're a marketer, right? If you're into e-commerce, you have to, again, be there, be kind of open-minded and not so stubborn that I have to make Facebook work. This is my only ad platform that I have to work with, right? Would you agree?
Oh yeah, 100%. People stick to what they hear online, and the majority of what's heard online is go with Facebook, go with Google ads, go with Instagram influencers, and that's where people kind of miss out on the money because when I was doing YouTube ads for some of my dropshipping stores back in 2018 at the end, my return on investment was so much better than Facebook ads because everybody was doing Facebook ads. Yeah. So it's always about doing reverse engineering, doing the opposite of what everybody else does.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to build a long-term sustainable business, with quality customers, revisiting customers, lifetime customers, you're going to have multiple channels, and you're going to have that content also being distributed on multiple channels as well, not only organically, but also in terms of advertisements as well. So awesome, man. Thanks for that. So what would be the most important tip to someone who's just starting dropshipping? And a lot of people actually liked this tip because a lot of people on my group are beginners. So just kind of an overall general tip to someone who just wants to get started with the first Shopify store tonight, for example.
Yeah, so if you're looking to get started in dropshipping, Shopify, or any e-commerce business, like, take it serious. Like, a lot of people approach Shopify dropshipping as like not a real business. They treat it like it's some weird thing. Like, if you don't treat this like a business, you won't make business money. Like, you'll make a hobby money, not business money. And that's the reason why most people fail, because they treat this like a hobby or some kind of like joke, and they make joke money. So really approach this like a real business. Take everything seriously. Follow one person. Like, don't follow loads of people on YouTube, because loads of people have different ways of doing things. It's the same way loads of people have different recipes for the same food. So if you try and put them all into one, it's going to come out as a disaster. So just follow one person. So follow yourself. If they're in your group, just follow Yosh, because at the end of the day, he knows what he's doing. Just follow him. Like, don't go off and follow other people, because when you go and do something like an ad strategy, Facebook ad strategy, and you're trying to do Yosh's method and then somebody else's method, it's going to come out like pants, because you've mixed the two methods together. So follow one person you can trust. And like I said, treat it like a real business, and it takes time. Like this, I honestly say this is a 2 to 5 year game plan. And I know that's going to turn a lot of people away and be like, damn, I only thought it was a year game plan, I'll be rich. Unfortunately, it is a 3 to 5 year game plan, or 2 to 5 year game plan.
Yeah, I agree. I think especially how this industry is going, you probably see like a lot of gurus, flashing their money, their Lambos, their mansions, girls, again, like, it's very cliche for me to say, but the grass does really look greener on the other side. Anyone who looks like they had an overnight success, really didn't. They had like a 4 or 5 year overnight success. So, I think patience is very important, and consistency is very important. I always tell my one-on-one clients, I keep my group very limited. I only partner up with like 2 or 3 clients every single quarter. You have to want as badly as you want to breathe, and that's the reality of it. You can't half-ass it. You can't kind of work on it a few days, take a month off and go back to it. That consistency, that flow is very, very important, when you're starting.
Yeah, momentum's key, bro. Like, I've read I forgot what book it was I read, but it's all about momentum and how it works. Like, if you get a bit of momentum, you've got to ride it, man. You can't let it go.
100%. I agree. So I think we'll take 2 more, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, bro, go ahead.
This is a little bit more personal, I guess. What would you say you do to stay productive? Any productivity hacks, anything you do practice daily or on a weekly or monthly basis?
So these are probably the biggest hacks I'm going to give out. And the first one is, if you've got a goal, now in terms of goal planning and goal setting, you should have short-term goals and long-term goals. Because if you only have long-term goals, it's going to feel so far away. And because it feels so far away, you're not going to get there where you want to get there, and it's going to demotivate you. So, for example, like a short-term goal when I started was I want to make my first $1,000 online. Now, my long-term goal at that point was I want to make $10,000 online. Now, the short-term goal was a lot more tangible, because obviously it's not as big as a long-term goal. So when you're goal setting for your dropshipping business, make short-term and long-term goals. Now, when I say short-term goals, it's within a few months to a year. Long-term goals are beyond 5 to 10 years. And if you understand that concept, it will keep you motivated. Another thing that I want to say is, in terms of goal setting, you don't want to make it just about money, because if it's just about the money, once you make the money, you'll get demotivated. People will disappear. Now, I'm not going to mention names, but you'll see a lot of dropshipping gurus that get big off YouTube. They monetize it, they make a lot of money, and then they disappear. They sell a course and they disappear. They've gone. They've literally gone to like Mars. They've just disappeared.
Just gone.
Because all they're doing now is living off that course money, and then they'll come back once it runs out. So if money is just your motive, then you can just tell when money is just somebody's motive, because as soon as they got it, they disappear. Now, I've got more than enough money, yet I'm still here every single day grinding it out. And they're the kind of people you want to follow, because if you don't, then you're following the wrong people. Now, in terms of another goal setting is if you goal set in terms of things that are not about yourself. Now, a good analogy is, I'm sure you're the same. You plan to go to the gym. You plan to go there at least 3 times, 4 times a week. You plan to do obviously good things at the gym, get healthy, eat good food, go on your phone less and stuff like that. But the main one is going to the gym. Now, how many of us say we're going to go to the gym and get fit? Everybody says it. Everybody says they're going to do it. But how many people stick to it? Me, myself, I always say, look, I'm going to go to the gym, and I end up quitting. The reason why I end up quitting is because I'm the only person that's going to be rewarded for that. So we all quit on ourselves. But if the goal was, oh, I want to do this for my family, then the thing is, would I really quit on my family? I'm okay quitting on myself, but I'm not okay quitting on my family. Does that make sense?
100%. At that.
No,
yeah, go ahead.
So the reason has to be bigger than yourself. So instead of thinking about me, I got to think, now me personally, I don't have kids, but my mindset is I need to think about my kids and their grandkids and their grandkids and their grandkids. Now that holds me not responsible. I've got to be responsible for them and not myself. And another thing is, like, I come from like not a rich family, so I'm the only person now that can change the family legacy.
Likewise, yeah. It's at the end of the day, you know, what's your main motivation? What's your main drive to kind of get where you want to be? And, you know, do you really want to build an empire? How do you want to get there? Who do you want to build it for? You know, what's kind of your main driving factor to build that? And I think I can definitely resonate with all the things you mentioned. And I know like a lot of people, you know, they kind of suffer from ADHD. They get distracted easily, or they just don't have that drive or momentum or that motivation in general. Something I've been personally trying for the last 2 weeks, and I read upon this in an article, is something called the Pomodoro method, or the Pomodoro technique. What it basically is, you basically set intervals of 25 minutes. You basically set a timer on your phone or somewhere. And why you're setting that timer is because you're creating a sense of urgency, right? That you have to get this done. And that 25 minutes, that's all you're doing. You know, you're not going to the kitchen to eat a snack. You're not checking your notifications. You know, you're doing, it's uninterrupted. After those 25 minutes are finished, you know, you take a 4 to 5 minute break, and you kind of go back to it. You know, so that's something I've been trying to myself. You know, I'm always kind of open to kind of investing in myself, mastering my day-to-day schedule every single day. So, you know, for those of you guys that do, again, like suffer from, you know, distractions, you guys lose momentum, you guys, again, simply don't have that drive, you know, that's something that you guys can definitely, you know, put into practice.
Another thing that I want to touch on quickly, and I was looking at my phone because I use this app called To-Do List by Microsoft.
Okay.
And what I do is I do what you said. I plan my day in like intervals. So I start my day off by doing the hardest tasks, because if you do the hardest tasks at the end of the day, that's when your energy levels deplete, which means when you're going to do the hardest task at the end of the day, the likelihood of you doing it is going to be 0. So always do the hardest tasks at the start of the day, and then slowly, like, modularly go down in terms of how hard it can get. And you can see on my phone, like, I lay my day out, like, the times and what I'm going to do. And then what I do is I set notifications so they'll ping when I need to do them. And then I just ping them off by clicking them. And you can set times. So, like, for example, I might write on here, take a hot shower at 8:30. It will automatically detect that, and it will ping off at 8:30 saying you need to take a shower. So, like, Microsoft To-Do List, this is what I use. Honestly, like, it makes my productivity so amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I personally use notes, you know, but you know, I kind of also have little tickers that I mark off as well. But I think, you know, just simply like writing stuff down, or if you don't like to write stuff down, you know, putting them in your phones like we do, I think that's something great. Just kind of helps you keep track of where your time is and, you know, where you're allocated.
Not just that, but it gives you a sense of, like, before I used to never actually keep track of things. And when the day was over, I wouldn't feel fulfilled because I felt like I never did anything. But now I've written it all down on my phone. When I take them off, I feel so good after my day because I know I've got stuff done. So that self-fulfillment is amazing.
100%. Just that inner feeling that you get. 100%. And our last question is, and it really, really kind of depends on how much you want to tell us. You know, what are kind of your plans and goals, or kind of what's your outlook for the next 6 to 12 months? You know, personally, business-wise, it can be anything philanthropy related, really anything.
Yeah, so I think with me, I'll start off with personal. So I think my personal goals for the next 6 to 12 months would to be just like, honestly, I know this sounds stupid, but to try and get like my positivity up again, because I think what people don't realize is the more money you make, I'm not even joking to you, the more stress comes. Like, I'm not even joking. The more responsibilities, like I struggle to get off my phone, man, because it always goes off. So like it can ruin my relationship with my girlfriend. It can ruin my relationship with my family. So I'm trying to get good at being positive. I'm trying to get good at like learning when to take time out and like spend the time with the family. So I think it's more of that. Like honestly, that is probably like my personal goals. Like be a little more happier, be a little more grateful on things, and also learn to say like goodbye to work when it's like the weekends and stuff, so I can enjoy time with my loved ones. So that's some of my personal goals. I think in terms of business goals for like e-commerce and dropshipping, we just launched a branded like fashion label. So I think we want to kind of like, me and my partner, we want to scale that out and like really take over the UK fashion scene. I know it's a big statement, but I'm sure we'll get there. And also to scale some of my branded stores out. I've got a few branded one product stores. And another thing, probably business goal wise, now if we're talking a little bit more about the about like service based things, in terms of the YouTube channel, I'm going to try and hit 100K by the end of the year. That's probably one of my biggest goals. And then my last goal would probably be like just changing people's lives, because like there's no better feeling, and I know you can probably vouch for this. There's no better feeling than anybody saying to you, "Look, you've changed my life." As soon as somebody says you changed their life, that feeling you get is like unreal.
100%, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it's unreal because I mean, this client I've had a few calls with. I remember, when I used to work with her, she was doing decent, revenue every single day. I think she was doing 4 or 5K in sales every day. And the one kind of roadblock or hindrance she had was, scaling. She didn't have proper scaling strategies. There were a few missing leads in her actual ad strategies. We hopped on a few calls, and then she actually sent me a screenshot of her last month's sales, and she broke 360K in sales for the month.
Wow.
And I think she profited like 92K, which was amazing. So again, I think just kind of knowing that really kind of delivers that sense of self-fulfillment. I can definitely agree with the YouTube as well. I'm really trying to help as many people as possible, through the Facebook group, through my Telegram group, through the YouTube group. And that's awesome.
Yeah, man, I can see you working hard, man. I see like a notification saying you've posted in your Facebook group. I can see you're active in there lots, man. So yeah. I really take my hat off to you, really like trying to help people. And it's never better than seeing somebody that really wants to help the community. Because with me, like, if I see you like just here to bullshit people and take the piss, I'll confront you about it. And I have no problem with saying that you're an idiot. So to see good people like yourselves trying to help the community out, not try and sell them like courses and not trying to sell them every little thing, and just to provide value, it's really good to see, because the industry at the moment is getting into quite a messy situation.
Super cutthroat as well. Yeah, I agree. Awesome, man. So I think that was really, really great. I think we touched upon a lot of topics here. Obviously, guys, if any of you guys still have any questions, please do feel free to comment below, any thoughts and concerns. Obviously, please do drop a huge like on this video. So
yeah, make sure you like the video and you subscribe to the channel.
100%, man. Thank you. This can reach as many people as possible. And I'll definitely leave Kamil's Instagram in the description below so you guys can follow him. And yeah, do you have anything else to add?
I just want to say a massive thank you to you, Yash, for enabling me to come on the channel and speak a few words on a few questions that your community wanted to know. And just keep killing it, dude. I can see you grinding hard, man. So I'm sure eventually your time will come where people will see you.
Thank you, man. I do appreciate it. Awesome, guys. So with that being said, thank you so much. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you guys soon. Peace.